Welcome to 2020, family. And we starting it with our boy Atheism is Unstoppable, aka Devin Tracy, aka our countryman, who, unlike Sargon of Akkad, who I did a video on a few days back, poking his British nose into American into American interest. I can't just shit on Devin like that. I can't just, because he's an American, so he's my countryman. And thusly, we can sit down and we can have a conversation about exactly what's spurring a lot of this. And even in his guesstimation, to my knowledge, he hasn't particularly gotten to where I think this really needs to go. Really needs to be maybe not a spotlight, but a pinpoint on. So before we get there, because YouTube likes to monitor the first few minutes of any video, I'm going to let them rock for a bit, and then we'll get to my points. So without further ado, let's get into this.
He goes on to say the despicable crimes committed against our Jewish community over the last 24 hours are an attack on all New Yorkers.
But see, it's not. I get the sentiment, but it's not. And it's not even being framed that way. Antisemitism, it's targeting this one group. We should all be shocked and offended by it. It does affect our city, and we should be compelled to take action. But this isn't the problem. Why do people hate the Jews? And who is hating on the Jews? Call them out. This doesn't call them out. It's talking about the Jewish community, the victims. It's obsessing on who is being attacked and not who's doing the attacking.
The attacks come during what is supposed to be a time of peace for the holidays, and less than 2 weeks after the targeted attack and deadly shootout at a kosher deli in Jersey City. We found there's been a 53% increase in anti-Semitic crimes in the city this year compared to the same time last year.
Yeah, and a lot of that is, you'd have to dive in, but there probably is an uptick, but it's not 53%. That is an uptick in the reports of hate crimes. And that's a huge distinction because, look, reality doesn't really matter. None of us have omniscience. We don't know reality. What we do understand is perception. We understand marketing and advertising. Perception is reality. For example, right now, who's going to be the best president next time around? Trump? Bernie? Biden? Warren? Yang? The answer is Yang.
Okay, I waited specifically for him to get to that because I don't understand. Like, is that it? Are y'all being facetious? Like, everybody who's like, oh yeah, Andrew Yang, he's gonna be really? Are y'all shitting me? Like, is that a joke? Is that a troll? Is Yang just a troll candidate? I kind of don't get it. The answer is actually Tulsi, but it is what it is. We can't worry about policy and the like. But no, actually the answer is Trump, because he's going to be reelected very easily. It's not even close at this point. So yeah, when I skipped over that one part because of the once again trying to get through the few minutes so YouTube isn't listening anymore. But when we talk about the who is doing this, hi Farrakhan, how are you doing there, buddy? Yeah, Louis Farrakhan, and a lot of, the Muslims and the like Islam is huge in the bleep community. And what does Louis Farrakhan talk about a lot? Jewish people and how they're termites and how they're terrible and how they're awful, and thusly creating a sentiment of, oh well, we can just blame the Jews, and it's just like, bro. No, like cut that out, because somebody, it was really weird. I received a comment about how, I'm not self-reflective when in all actuality I am. I try to be very self-aware, and what did I do wrong? How did I get to where I am, and how do I get to where I want to be? And I believe that's necessary in all aspects, particularly when it comes to the collective bleeps all together, because once again, 900% increase in elected representation, yet the communities are being gentrified. They've been without, what's needed industry, decent jobs for the men, so the men can take care of the families financially, and the wives can, be wives, work if they have the options and the opportunities, not the demand and the requirement, but the options and the opportunities to go out and, pursue dreams once babies are born and the nuclear family has been solidified. But that's not what as a collective, as a society, we've harbored on. That's not what we've put the most stock into. If anything, we've done everything to dismantle that home life for the young and youth and like and whatnot, what have you, and just said, yeah, go on, get on out there. And we're seeing now where, you know, people without direction are listening and getting their guidance from somewhere, and a lot of them get their guidance from the words of, you know, a Louis Farrakhan and the like. So thusly, you know, they hear that, and then they see, because another thing that's not being talked about a lot is that, you know, that particularly the Hasidic Jews are very easily identifiable. So thusly is like, oh, well, you know, I can point you, you're the easiest to identify, because when it comes to racism, and I believe that at a biological level this is like taking place, is that, hey, I don't want to harm you because I don't want to harm you or your group because you're a part of that group. And I, at least from my angle, is like, hey, I'd bang her, so I don't want to see all her people gone. It's the simplest thing in the world, but it's just like, so you can't really tell. And plus, there's so much racial ambiguity as far as who gets categorized in their government designation color box, because that's all it really is a government designation. So, yeah, that, like, as far as the who and how is this propagating and how is this, you know, becoming such a, how is this like really amped up? Where has this sentiment? Why are people so angry towards this one specific group? Well, there's really one place you can look, you know. Hey, you know, Muslim brothers and sisters, you know, Louis Farrakhan, hey, talk to y'all peoples, all right? Tell them take it easy, because that's really where a lot of this is coming from. That's where a lot of that sentiment comes from, all right?
Let's say, okay, pretend we don't know. We don't know. There is no objective way to say who would be the best president. All we know is who appears like they would be the best president, who has made the...
And that's Trump, because he's the one who's had the job for the past, like, I don't even, like, why is this even a thing? He's the one that's had the job for the past few years, and the economy's booming, people got more money in their pockets, he made sure that, and shoot, it's the economy, stupid. So, yeah, like, Trump, we ain't got to worry about the next 5 years. I mean, you can if you want to, but I'm not taking 2024 into 2020 with me, you know what I mean?
Best case for it, who has the best marketing. So, look, a huge part of life on Earth, as a human being, is not to empirically figure out what's true. Save that for the science geeks. In the rest of the world, in the real world, the skill that is needed, the skill that is in demand, is can you convince someone else of anything? Can you convince that girl at the end of the bar to fuck you? Can you convince the person at your job interview to hire you?
Can I convince you to subscribe to the channel? I mean, I already convinced Devin, but I mean, I'm talking about you listening, watching. I mean, come on, sub. It's all good, baby.
Can you convince that bank to give you a loan? Can you change someone else's mind? Because to do that, you don't need to have omniscience. You don't need to have a rock-solid argument. You just need to be persuasive. So, for example, the people behind the hate crime incidents rising up are groups like the SPLC and the ADL. Those people have an agenda. It's not even hidden. They're trying to protect Jews. No.
And honestly, like, both of these, that, like, I wouldn't take the ACLU. I wouldn't take the ACLU out of there either. I mean, because, like, all of these organizations are run by people. People have agendas, and they're moving things. They're trying to move things in ways that, you know, will progress their agenda at all times. So, you know, like, I think that list is quite a bit longer, and you can also slap damn near every celebrity on there, because they're paid to, you know, like, hey, give me $50,000, I'll say whatever the hell you want, you know? Like, that's kind of their swag. So, and it's really, and that's the thing about capitalism. Can you really be angry or upset at them for doing such a thing? But it's because it's up to you as an individual to be able to recognize those things. You know, it's something I talk about a lot on this channel. Like, you can't expect other people to have your best interest in mind. That's just not how that works at all. And particularly when it comes to the groups.
What do? They overcorrect. They overinflate numbers because, hey, what's the big deal? Are we going to be too worried about anti-Semitism? So maybe there was a 25% increase, but let's call it 53. Who is really harmed by that? So they skew the numbers and they inflate the threat because they have that agenda.
What does that number mean to you?
That's unacceptable. It's way too high and should be going down.
The Anti-Defamation League saying enough is enough. They're now offering a $10,000 reward in the case caught on camera for any information that leads to an arrest.
Okay, so look, the attack in Central Park in '89 was not called an anti-white attack, even though the guys in the park that day were calling them crackers and whitey and shit like that. And the victims were white. But apparently we didn't even have a term. We don't have the buzzword anti-Semitism when it applies to white people. Anti-Caucasoid? I mean, that's not a thing. So Tessa Majors gets knifed to death, that's not anti-white, it's not a hate crime. This Jew gets hit in the back of the head, it's a hate crime, it's anti-Semitic. Which is true? How can we tell? Does it matter? Well, if the guy on the news says it's anti-Semitic, then I guess it is. It must be. He just framed it that way. The same guy on the same news channel could have said, anti-white attack against Tess Majors perpetrated by these bleeps. Of course, he wouldn't say that. So I'm calling bullshit on the people surrounding this case. The Jewish guy who just got hit on the head, he's the victim. I feel bad for him. Let's get him medical attention. The bleeps who hit him, they're the bad guys. Let's find them. Let's put them in jail. That's whatever. That's easy. That's basic. It's everything else outside of that that is either going to diminish this problem or help get it solved. And life is not perfect. We're not going to solve this 100%, but we can sway the trends. And it's not even clear how this could be done. But I can tell you one thing that's not helping: dishonesty. Do not shroud this conversation in a way that is not nakedly and unabashedly exposing what is truly happening here and who's doing it.
It's terrible that these days in America we should have to worry about such things, but that's the way it is right now.
In Crown Heights tonight, Dan Krauth, Channel 7 Eyewitness News.
Yeah, it's grotesque. Okay, I feel like this is a good thing to show you guys right now. I'm friends with a cop from...
Okay, so she bad in the back, just so we're clear. I mean, just gorgeous.
Brooklyn. And we keep in touch, and he took me out on his beat when I was in Brooklyn a couple years ago. And I got to see firsthand him take out a few on our and it was invigorating. He...
Okay, so the cop basically goes on to say that, yeah, a lot of quote-unquote bleeps are doing the crime. Are doing the attacking. But there's a confrontation that takes place on a subway that I wanted to get into.
They act recklessly, they ruin their own lives, some of them, not all, and they perpetrate and violate other people's lives, so they don't have any respect, and they will be treated with zero tolerance, rightfully. Let me give you an insight into how much hatred there is between bleeps and Jews in New York City. Here's a recent confrontation on a subway.
Okay, seriously, I'm really good at just like knocking that on down, right? And hopeful, and honestly, I hope that that's the hand that what Devin was speaking of when it comes to them being handled properly, particularly those who just those who attack and harm others. Yeah, by all means, put them in jail, put them underneath the jail, okay? Put them in a mental health facility, all right? But when it comes to just harming others who've done absolutely nothing to you, it is intolerable. It is unfreaking tolerable. Like, you got this jackass Amazing Lucas right now who is just like, yeah, you know, beat it, like, who's like really boosting vigilantism, and it's like, bro, maybe not. How about don't do that, okay? How about we try to, you know, lean towards order as opposed to just pure chaos.
Somebody does? You sure as shit you do, because your family went through the Holocaust.
Okay, not a good look to be screaming about the Holocaust to some Jew on the subway. She went there.
Who are you guys? Who? You said I'm being racist, so you tell me what
Okay, I don't know, but there's something about her voice, maybe because it's New York, but it seems to have a little bit of a Spanish flavor to it, and it's not like she's, you know, like dark, like super dark. I mean, let's be real. Like, this could easily be a brown woman, make no mistake. And it's not a particularly a bleep here, sir.
being racist towards.
Okay, so the anger is he got called some derogatory term, or she probably just brought up you're Jewish, this and that, or you Jews, whatever. It was in a negative tone, and she brought up that identity. And so he responded, you're being racist. In other words, let's not get into the weeds of are Jews a race, which you can easily make the case for. That's a distraction. The point is, you have a negative outlook, and you are offering hateful energy towards a group of people. That is,
which is unacceptable. But that's why I tend to just stick with group, because to sit there and say race, like hell is even a race? Like, when it comes to the black, the white, the green, the blue, the purple, where does Judaism fit in those spectrums? It's like, or like religion is something completely different. So, but it's a group, it's a group of people, and any group, regardless, should be okay if they've done nothing to you. Like, the individuals within that group are not the group. The individuals within that group are the individuals, and we should always aim to treat individuals according to how they, treat us. Namely, treat people how you personally would like to be treated, but not everybody operates on that energy, and, just pick that energy up from the individual, not the group.
the spirit in which he just used the word racism. But this bleep is like, wait a minute, that's my term. I'm the one supposed to be hiding behind racism. I can't be a racist, which is obviously absurd. Bleeps, you wanted equality, you want to be treated like everyone else? Well, welcome to equality. You can be racist too.
Yeah, and it's pretty awesome. I'm not even going to lie. I mean, I've been able to live a rather nice life based off of that. People treating me, treating people well has always tended to work out for me. You know, I try to treat people good because in return, you'll get that energy. All the time back? No, of course not. Some people are just racist dicks. But, you know, most times, yeah. Yeah, I like to say probably 70-80% of the time when I am, good, when I try to be good to someone, they in turn return that kindness. And that's fantastic. I love it. It's one of my favorite parts of being on this dirt ball is knowing that there are good people on it. You know, it gives me a reason to keep going. Speaking of keep going.
Because you're Jewish, and I said if a Jewish family got on here, somebody would have got up. That is not a racist statement.
Yeah, it's kind of fucked up. So she's saying a bleep family got on there, and no one stood up, and the reason they didn't stand up was because they don't care about blacks, I guess, and...
Okay, so the first problem here is that you're listening to a woman. No offense, ladies. Just saying... She's clearly balls deep in her emotions, and even the gentleman that's interacting with her, dude, just really, she's just what's going on there is, and I do this all the time, particularly when people are just irrationally mean to me. I give them fucked up backstories, oh, I'm sorry, your uncle, pegged you when you were a small boy. Ah, that sucks, dude. Worst time for you, huh? Oh my goodness, you have my sympathies, and I go about my day just feeling grateful for my life that I didn't get pegged in the ass by my uncle, but feeling terrible that he did. Oh man, that sucks.
If a Jewish family had gotten on, someone would have stood up. So are you seriously calling out this Jewish man for common courtesy in New York City? For politeness? There was a great speech I heard from John McWhorter, who was talking about him looking at a bleep on a bus or a subway, who was man-spreading, he's taken up 3 seats, and he had a chip on his shoulder. And John McWhorter was watching him, and he's like, what is this punk kid doing? And there are people coming on, there are mothers, there are pregnant women, and he's just ignoring them. He's like, fuck you. You owe me something. I owe you nothing. I will show you no respect. Civility and politeness is out the window. Me and every other concerned citizen of the United States, we wish to God our only gripe was you guys not being polite enough, which is a legit gripe. Hey, why don't you tip more? But no, I think her premise is flawed, and judging by her anger, I think she has residual anger. This anger did not start in the subway today.
No, not at all. It started. It's been particularly with the poison. Not to speak of urban poison in the continental United States. It's been resonating and just bubbling inside her for her entire life. And guess what? It continues if she's still alive, and she probably does, because evil doesn't die. She probably still is alive, and not does. What am I, English? She probably is still alive because evil doesn't die, but and she's still angry. She's still upset. She's upset with her life. She's upset with psychological conditioning that she is not even freaking aware of. She's gone, dude. She's gone, which is why it's always best to just ignore it. You know, you got better things to do. Come on, man. Seriously. Do not waste your time with such things.
Anger, there are dominoes that lead you to this moment of rage with this woman.
That is a factual statement. And you need to learn the difference between race. Judaism is not a race. It is a religion.
Yes, Judaism is a religion, but the Jewish people are a race. I mean, they interbreed. You can draw back their lineage. You could break it down genetically if you want, but it could easily be described as a race. Definitely an ethnic group. I mean, it's clearly its own unique set of people. So let's not split hairs here.
With its unique set of insanely hot chicks, which is why, how can you hate them? I'm sorry. If no matter how it is, you know what I'm saying, whatever stops you from being a piece of shit is what stops you from being a piece of shit. And, you know, shoot, if oh my goodness, bad chicks and bangable chicks is what stops you from wanting to destroy the world, then shoot, God bless the hot chicks and bangable chicks, right?
Ism is a religion. No, I need to calm down now because I'm schooling your ass.
Oh, ponage.
You guys think you're so smart, but guess what? I'm gonna teach you a lesson on this train today.
See that? There's the inferiority complex. This Jew minding his own business. They have a dispute on the subway. I doubt he is at fault in this situation. And she goes, "Oh, you think you're so smart, don't you? You think you're so..." Where did that come from?
Like he said, absolutely nothing. Nothing to even imply. But as Devin points out, yeah, it is an inferiority complex. I mean, she's a woman? She's a woman of color? Oh, it's the victim narrative. That's exactly what it is. She's been placated to and just told that she's a victim. She's a victim. She's a victim. Who did this to me? The Jews did this to you. Well, oh my goodness, I'm going to sit here and school this guy I don't know on all these things. That's really what it is. I mean, this is American culture coming back to my America in its fucking ass.
That is an inferiority complex. That you're not witnessing Jewish supremacy here.
I'm a person, you're a person.
No, we're different. Understand that. No.
So much for unity. So he's like, look, I'm a person. I'm treating everyone like people. I'm not coming to you as a Jew. I'm not viewing you as an other. I view everyone the same. She goes, no, we're definitely different.
Oh, we are different.
That's right. She's different. She's a woman of color in this man's world. She's nothing but a perpetual victim. No.
Luther King is doing more rotations in his grave than Greg Louganis ever did.
You know why? Because your people treat my people different in our community.
No, that's not true.
The are you talking about?
Ooh, this black woman right in front of us in the foreground agreed with that sentiment. You people...
Okay, Dev, here's the deal. She isn't particularly wrong. A lot of the properties in urban communities are held by specific groups of people, okay? But that's the thing about the group versus the individual. You cannot put all what the group does onto the individual, because that individual, like the gentleman in this confrontation, is like, what are you talking about? Like, I know nothing of that. So thusly, like, it really is such a ridiculous way to view the world that I am just glad that I've stepped away from it. But yeah, to like what she's doing is just accosting the entire history of the group onto this one person, which I don't think anyone really wants. No one wants to have someone else's actions come back to bite them personally on the ass. Like, that is just, dude, dick move. All right, dick move on all fronts. So, bruh.
Treat our people different. Please. In what world? So, do you think there's a reason
This one, dude. Okay, I mean, a lot of the deterioration and degeneracy and degradation that takes place in urban America. The bleeps do not own these spaces, man. All right, and that's nothing. Once again, nothing against anybody's group. Just saying that's the reality. Okay, you're right. It's perception, no reality. Well, you're right. There is that fine line, but guess what? The reality of this scenario is that a lot of these places are just, they're sitting there gathering dust and are tied up in insanely complicated bureaucratic red tape. I can tell you war stories of how these areas and these communities have been let down, but you never put that on an individual. You can't. I'm sorry. It's unfair to that person. Okay? I hope I'm not coming across any kind of way. Just saying, you can't attribute what is, even if there is truth into what the group is, to issues with that group, you can't put it on any individual.
Do you think they have cause? Different how? Do you think you treat their people the way you treat your people? Hell to the effing no. H to the Izzo, please.
She's right. You treat us different in our community. You don't even rent to us. What the are you talking about?
So she's screaming.
He's like, I don't even own a house. What are you talking about? Because it's funny to me. Because like bro, like you spazzing on me, and I just like the likelihood of him, being involved in that in what's taking place. It's just, he on a subway. He ain't balling like that. Come on. But she just that's been allowed to marinate, man, here in this country. That anger, that resentment has been festering for a really, really long time. And here we go.
You don't rent to me. He's like, I don't own any land. I'm not a landlord. Why are you pointing at me? Jews rent to whoever is going to get them paid.
True, and my God, she is fantastic. And she gorgeous. I like that. Let's keep going.
They make educated guesses. Okay, money is king. It ain't personal. And by the way, they do work with the black community. If the numbers are right and the credit is there, they will take that risk on you. So, for better or for worse, one of the flaws of capitalism is that it's blind and it only cares about money.
Which is, I'm saying, the great equalizer. The problem being is that decisions made, particularly within the black community, over the past 50 years are what has created the outcome that we walk into 2020 with. That has created the reality that we walk into 2020 with. That whole perception game that he was speaking of earlier, where he's like, everything's about perception. You're right. Everything's about perception. And that's a big part of the problem. That's one of the bleep community's biggest flaws, is that they'd rather go with what's perceived than rather what's reality. I'm telling you, talk to any of them. They're sitting there, oh, well, positivity. That's all they sit there and cry about. And when somebody brings a little bit of reality to them, they freak out and they can't handle it. Trust me, I've been down this road a million times. Yeah. You're Uncle Tom, or what, you like Trump? I really don't care either way. I'm much more concerned with what you're doing. Like, I'm telling you guys. I'm telling you, when it comes to these communities, man, when it comes to the bleep community, there is not a lot of self-reflection. There is not a lot of, hey, yeah, what did we get wrong in the past 50 years? Well, how about we not sit here and just talk about white supremacy? Let's talk about the people who look exactly like us fucking up. and making terrible choices and making terrible calls. How we've allowed the drug war to just go to completely wipe our families out. How we've allowed all these different policies to just completely, not just allowed, we accepted, we walked into it happily. And what are we looking at now? Gentrification and just and people attacking Jews for no reason other than the fact that they butthurt over things that they should be looking inward for. Inward, not inward. Anyways, guys, that's about it for this one. All right, I think I've run my mouth long enough. This has been fun. Welcome to 2020, guys. We're about to have a lot of fun in 2020. Okay. So with that being said, we're gonna bring this one to an end. All the internet stuff. If you liked it, toss a like, dislike, go ahead, do that too. Nobody's scared of you. Sub if you enjoy my fantastic voice and want to get videos like this every single day. Share because sharing is caring. And YouTube and bitch shooting like aren't the biggest fans of your boy over here. Bang the bell for notifications and speak. Let me know. What do you think in the comments? Like I will always appreciate the individual, and when it comes to dealing with anyone on a personal level, that's what it should always be. Like the jokes and the stereotypes and stuff like that, they come from real places. All of them. No matter your group, your stereotype comes from a legitimate place, all right? Let's laugh at it again. Let's have a good time, with each other. Let's enjoy each other again. That's my whole thing. But, not everybody sees the world the way that I do. And if you see it differently, well, that's what I have a comment section for. By all means, let me know. And until the next one.